To the organizers of this debate, congregation, and my fellow candidates, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Gibson Olkeri. I was born in Ongatarongai. I went to Nakel Primary School. I was privileged to join college and I pursued a course in social work and community development. And God enabled me to become the vice president of the institution during my second year. And later on, during my third year, I became the institutional president. I've been working with several NGOs, one of them being SHOFCO. That is, SHOFCO stands for Shining Home for Community. I've also worked for Nyumba ya Tumaini as a rescue officer, Watoto Wema, and founder of Badili Maisha Foundation, an initiative of young college students who go out to help children within the CCIs. CCIs, that is Charitable
Karaoke.
Children's Institution.
Karaoke, kindly,
Yes.
we wanted to know your name, your party and sign, where you live, and what the name of your chief is.
Okay, I thought it was introduction. I'm sorry for that.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. My names are Dennis Okoth Ombodi, aka Bulldozer. Mimi ni mkaaji wa Kiserian. Chief wangu anaitwa Lesea. Nimeoa mke mmoja, watoto 4. Asanteni.
Yeah, good evening everybody. Majina yangu ninaitwa David Mungai Ndongo, or rather Kabro. Nimetoka sehemu ya Ole Roimen na chief wa area yangu ni Mr. Kapaito. Thank you very much.
So, you've all stated your names, you've stated your party, so we pretty much do know you, but we want to know what you stand for. What is your manifesto? And share with us the vision and the 3 key deliverables that people of the Olkeri word will want to see from you. What will they see? The 3 things that you feel that at the end of your term, they will have experienced. So we want to know your vision, the 3 deliverables, and, of course, your manifesto.
Thank you again. My vision to Olkeri Ward, I would like it to be a place to be, where everyone would like to be or to stay. On my manifesto on education, I will accommodate when I will be an MCA, I will accommodate young mothers who will need to continue with their academics, because we can see many young ladies get married unwanted, but they could like to go on with their academics. So I will provide them I will accommodate them like in short courses that will help them future. I will also be giving sanitary tires to girls' child in every school within the ward, and also I will concentrate on boys too. I will be giving scholarship to vulnerable students. It will be on my charter programs. I will increase ward fund bursary within my ward, Barasin ward projects and bursary too. When we come to health, I'm also a community health volunteer. I know all charges that comes to our ward. So in health matters, I'll try and approve to build a rescue center for receiving GBV readies together with their families, or both genders, because sometimes we get even men are violated. So I'll be on GBV. Since I have worked in the community, I will bring the bill to mark the cancer as a normal disease, because you go and find some families are crying each and every time they're engaging people to get funds for hospital bill. I'll table the bill and make cancer as a result like TB, HIV to be free in our hospitals. Also, I use all my networks to improve my health facilities within the Olkeri ward. And my most and first, I will be training first aiders and doing a...
So Rachel, your time is out. Whoever is answering next, please do remember to keep time, and also give us what you will tell us, what you will be able to achieve within the first 100 days. Your vision, 3 key deliverables, and what you will do within the first 100 days.
100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days. Thank you once again for giving me this chance to talk. I have two, you have divided the question into two. First question is the manifesto. In the manifesto, I have like 7 issues that I'll look at. And secondly, the deliverables I can be able to do, and most of the past 100 days. My manifesto looks first and foremost at the issue of security. Secondly, the issue of education. Thirdly, the issue of the vulnerables, more so the disabled in the society. And number 4 is the environment and how to mitigate the environment. 5th is business and the issue of employment. In the second part of your question, you were asking about what I can deliver in the first 100 days. The first 100 days is very short, but I can be able to do the following. First and foremost, I'll be able to do the issue of environment. Environment involves on how we can mitigate the environment so that the world is today suffering about the climate change. How can we be able to do and be able to mitigate the climate so that our area cannot be able to become a desert in a few years to come? Number 2, about education. If you look at our secondary schools and primary schools, and if you look at the results are wanting. The results are very poor, and we need to understand why the results in Olkeri ward are not only poor, but nobody is bothered about education. And for the first 100 days,
Remember, your time is 2 minutes. Your time is 2 minutes. It's okay.
Once elected on 9th of August, I, Simon Dimo, will ensure all the residents, regardless of their origin or social class, receive high-quality services that they are entitled to. So that's my first vision. My second vision, I'll be committed to the provision of high-quality, efficient, and effective essential services to all Olkeri residents as their light. Number 3, I will provide 24 hours emergency telephone number for reporting crime, insecurity, health emergencies, and suspicion cases. That is my vision for the people of Olkeri. What are my deliverables in the 100 days? Number 1, I will ensure scholarship for blight-needed children is always provided without any discrimination or anything else. 2, modern infrastructure. I'll ensure, I'll lobby the county government that we need the feeder roads and also improve the roads within our ward. Number 3, also I'll ensure piped water within all homes and also within the Olkeri ward. Given a chance, those will be my vision and my deliverables. And may God bless you.
Thank you very much. Habari tena. And I remember I forgot to say my symbol is a lamp. DP party symbol ni taa. Mbarikiwe sana. In the first 100 days, I will seek to learn my ways in the assembly because unajua mimi ni kijana. So I must find a way vile nitaweza kujibeba pale. And then number 2, in those 100 days, I will look on how we can organize our community into an active community to participate in policy, to participate as a community, especially through churches and through welfare groups. Zile zote ziko kwa community yetu ya Olkeri. And then my agenda, 3 points. My point number 1, mimi ni kijana. So I'm seeking youth empowerment. And I believe vijana are creative and are innovative. I want us to embrace the innovative ability of young people, not to create a way to employ the young people that we have. And I have a lot of things under that we can talk about, like devolving IT centers. Now, when asked, I will answer that question, how I can do that. Secondly, I want to do representation, honest representation. I am God-fearing. I'm a child born and bred in the church. Na nimekuwa minister na kanisa ya Baptist for some time. And I feel it is time for godly leadership. So I want to represent our people faithfully in disbursement of bursaries and all allocations that we get in terms of grants. And then lastly, assembly representation. Mambo ya bills, nipiganie especially healthcare. I feel if we don't have a good healthcare system, we are all in trouble. Mbarikiwe sana. Asanteni.
Good evening once again. First and foremost, may I say that we need to know the geographical history of Olkeri. Olkeri sits at 59.70 square kilometers. It is a large area. It has names given by our forefathers, and the dreams of our forefathers were giving Olkeri names, especially Nalepo, Nasirian, Lemelepo, and the rest as the good names as per their dreams. Now, Olkeri wards has a population of 43,820 population, that is population, and the registered voters are that 1,500. In 100 days, you cannot promise especially the whole population of what to do. I will just say this, if I'm given time, that I will create job opportunity. I will for men and women, youth, and I will give details on that if time is given. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thanks once again. My manifesto is anchored in 4 major pillars. 1 is infrastructure, number 2 is education, number 3 is health, and number 4 is empowerment. Deliverables in 100 days. 1, I shall lobby for low interest rate loans to women and youth, and also lobby for license-free, business license-free for women, for people living with disabilities. And the other one, I'll also try and lobby for the for the ECDE improvement in terms of classes, and also provide for them to be provided for the ECDs to be provided with playing facilities. And number 3, for our health facilities, I lobby for them to be provided with drugs, and also lobby for our health facilities to be more effective in terms of more health workers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, moderator. First and foremost, will be orientation. I will orient myself with the operations of the county assembly to be able to understand better the roles of a member of the county assembly. Number 2, my manifesto is anchored on unity of purpose and uniting the people of Olkeri. We have many diversities within our ward. We have many tribes and different tribes in our ward, many cultures. I walk around rallying our people to drive together and to be able to stand together for one purpose of developing our ward. Number 3, I'll rally my people to public participation to be able to understand and to orient myself with the priorities of every area, and from there, the ball will start rolling. Thank you very much, moderator.
All right.
Thank you once again. I'm Peter Kamau Kariuki, and my mission as a leader in Olkeri is to make Olkeri great again through transformative servant leadership. You asked the question on what will I deliver in 100 days. 100 days is too short. But actually I have something to do in these 100 days. And mine is to bring different mind and skills on board. Because actually you are sending me as your representative in the county assembly. So together we are going in those 100 days to form and formulate a document, a strategic plan, 10 years. Actually I'm planning on 10 years strategic plan and actually evaluation tool for 6 months. And after that, we shall see the priority. Actually, my manifesto is anchored on 7 areas. That is infrastructure, clean water, health, waste management, security, education, and others. But actually, I'll major on infrastructure, health, and education. Thank you.
Good evening again. As I said earlier, my name is George Monene. My manifesto is anchored on changing the face of Olkeri. I have been living in Olkeri for some time, so I know the challenges of the people of Olkeri. First, I introduce introduction of TVT. In this one is change, it will be cheaper than colleges and university, because it has offered the same skill which are offered at colleges. In that one, it will bring a bit of change. Going to education, I've been in the forefront of pushing and making it easier for those children who are not able to enroll in Form 1. I've been going around searching for those students, lobbying for funds, for politicians, for more well-wishers, and I've done it in such schools. One of them, Kiserian mixed, Ololua mixed, Matasia mixed, and others. Basing on others on sports, I'll make sure I'll add up the socio amenities. We don't have, in Olkeri, we don't have such things like the dramas. We have people who have talent. They don't have anywhere to perform. And that's where I'll go in by adding up social amenities. On the other hand, I'll make sure we have road network, which we have very poor roads on Olkeri. In that one, in this one, I've been proved to be the best as I come up from transport sector. In Kiserian Primary School Road, I lobbied for FATs, and
Your time is out.
Good evening again. This is Jefferson ODM candidate. My vision is to make sure our children are able to access education for Olkeri people. First and foremost, I have 5 agendas for Olkeri people: education, business, youth and empowerment, infrastructure, and also health. But in the first 100 days, I promise that I'll be able to deliver an ambulance within the ward. And also I'll make sure in the first 3 years, we need to have, you realize that we have so many private schools, but public schools are very few, whereby majority of the people cannot be able to afford in accessing the private schools. But because the public schools are less, you find that our kids are not able to fit in those classes. That's in the side of education, that's what I stand for. And also in business, you realize that we don't have a market. We have a market which is a dummy in Matasia. I'll also make sure that market is operational so that our youths and they can also fit there. This other side, I've been promising that also I'll be able to make sure that we have a market built here instead of people going to Kekonyoki and also Ngaimorunya. And thirdly, I'll also make sure that the road networks are done properly. and also water connections. Like for example, you see Oloika and also Olkeri Primary Kwachiv. There are dams which have been done there, but there's no water connections because of power. So within the first 6 months, I'll make sure there is water connection to the residents. And also, in the matter of health, I've said I'll make sure that that hospital in Matasia, I'll make sure it has all medical equipments and also have the workers to propose that. So that's what I stand for in my manifesto for the people of Olkeri people. Yeah, thank you.
Good evening once again. Within my first 100 days, I will do civil education because I have realized as young people we have been left behind in terms of leadership. Basically because maybe we are young or we lack resources or maybe we lack experience. So within my 100 days, because we are the majority, I will make sure that every young person knows the responsibility and mandate of his or her leader. My agenda, because I have 4 agenda points, is education, drug and substance abuse, economic empowerment, talent empowerment, and skills. On education, I want to scramble private tuition on our public institutions. If it cannot be based on government responsibilities to pay tuition for every child within our ward, then I'm going to scramble it because it is being unfair for those who can afford to pay tuition fee and those who cannot afford to pay the same. I'm also going to introduce Olkeri Education Fund Kitty, where the rich can help the poor, where the rich can feel that they can sponsor individuals that cannot manage to pay their school fees. I'm also going to introduce a free library within every institution. This will be under initiative called Help a Child Learn Initiative, where I'll be collecting books to those people who have a lot of books, either in their houses, or they can be able to manage to buy a single book for our students to learn. I'll also introduce a local debate and symposium for institutions to try and encourage a learning culture within our children. I'm also going to partnership with organizations, NGOs, banks, and private institutions to be able to grasp all those opportunities of scholarships for our children. Because you understand a lot of NGOs and banks are offering scholarships, but our children and our parents are not aware of the way they can maneuver and acquire those scholarships. So I'm going to do that for them.
Your time is out. Karaoke.
Dennis Ombori, sisi wote tukue kama jamii moja na tuweze kusukuma Olkeri ward mbele. Asante.
David Mongai Ndongo, aka Kabro. Nilisahau kusema ya kwamba mimi nimesimama na chama cha Independent na log ni jembe na nimevalia t-shirt ya red kwa ballot. So I will be very short and clear about my manifesto. I will be dealing with unemployment within the area. I will be dealing with education, water, infrastructure, and health. In terms of employment, I will make sure that we join hands with the investors within the areas and make sure that any investor who is investing within our area, he's giving back to the community in terms of employment. And also about employment, we are going to equip the border guys because it is one industry or one sector that we cannot underrate, and make sure that we are going to erect them modern sheds, and we are going to have a formulation of SACCOs within the border sector that will help them to be able to collect their own savings in future so that they can be able to expound. Water, I will make sure that we will be able to generate solar panel generated pumps so that we can reduce the cost of bills and power, and we can be able to make sure that everybody within Olkeri is...
Sorry, your time is out. Now, I hope you're listening and taking note to what they're saying and what their manifestos do stand for. There's some of the things that you've mentioned in there, and there are some of the questions that we have from the residents of the area pointing to some of those issues that you want to address. But I really have an important question that I would like to hear in 30 seconds or less. Do you really know what the position of MCA represents, or what the role of an MCA is? And also, what will your executive committee look like? I would like to know, because there's been a big issue in terms of representation, and more so with Olkeri being a metropolitan region. I want to know what is the composition of your executive committee, and then keep in mind what the role of an MCA is. You have less than a minute to do that, please.
Thank you. Role of an MCA is legislative, presentation, and oversight. An MCA has a power in the county assembly to bring out bills and approve them. So that's the role of an MCA to me.
Thank you once again. I'm Frankie Matoke. I am under UPA, Kasi Haki. The work mainly of an MCA are three, and they are not different from an MP. There are three: representation, legislation, and the oversight. That's mainly the work of an MCA. Further, when you are in meetings at county assembly, it only depends when you are there. But for now, I know that's the main work of an MCA.
The role of MCA under Article 177 of the Constitution says what is the oversight, legislative, and also representation. Also, allowing the participations in public participation, and also other areas. In my executive committee, will include women, persons with disabilities, religious groups, youths, and of course someone who is experienced in the public work. And also the chief will be in my executive committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Again, the roles of an MCA. Did you need me to repeat again? It's basically the same.
I want to hear your understanding of the role.
Oh, my understanding.
Yes.
Okay, in representation, it means being able to represent my people in terms of their needs. Kama kuna mashida watu wanataka kuniletea, ama kuna vitu zinawasumbua, I'm able to interact with them and represent them accordingly, depending with what the problems are. In legislation, mambo ya bills. There are bills like, we need a Kajiado healthcare, and like Makueni healthcare. Such things like those can only be legislated at the table of the county assembly, plus other bills that nafikiria will change our ward. MCAs speaking out about these things impedes your aspect yetu na role yetu ya oversight, and I feel I will be able to do that. And then lastly, for the young people, I want to have youth, young people, and leaders of the community in my executive committee. Thank you very much.
The role of the MCA, making laws for the efficient performance of the county government, exercising oversight over the county executive committees, receiving and approving plans and policies for managing and exploiting the county resources, developing and managing the infrastructure and the institutions. Thank you.
Okay. The functions of an MCA, one is registration, whereby the MCAs enact laws for the ward. Number two is oversight, whereby they see to it that the assigned jobs by the county are well done in the areas of representation. And for the representation, they represent the electorate in the county level. Apart from those three, the work of an MCA also is to maintain close contact with the electorates so as he or she can collect views from the electorates and take them to the county assembly for deliberations, and also attend sessions of the county assembly to represent the same.
Your time. Remember, you have less than a minute, so be quick with it. It's okay.
Thank you so much, Moderator. I think the fundamental role of the member of the county assembly is registration, representation, and oversight. And first and foremost is maintaining a close contact with the electorate. Number 2, presenting their views to the county assembly, attending the sessions in the county assembly. Number 4, providing a link between the county assembly and the electorate. Number 5, extending the professional knowledge that you have in the county assembly to be able to uplift and to make sure that the laws that are passed there and the deliberations are up to date. Then my committee will comprise of professionals. Number 2, the business community will have a layman and the youth. And this has been well demonstrated in my campaigns, whereby I have really uplifted the youth. And I think moving forward, the take in the leadership of this ward must not be compromised. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again. Switch to Kiswahili.
It's okay.
Kazi za mwakilishi wa wadi ni nyingi, lakini nitazungumzia 3. Moja ni kutunga sheria, na pia si kutunga tu sheria, lakini kuhakikisha kwamba sheria ambazo pia zimetungwa ni kuwakilisha mawazo ya wananchi wa Olkeri katika bunge letu la county. Ya 3 ni kuhakikisha kwamba pesa ama fedha ambazo zimetolewa kufanya mradi fulani nimefuatilia, na pia katika bunge nimefuatilia ya kwamba kazi inafanyika kulingana na katiba na mapendekezo ambayo yamewekezwa. Mambo the composition of my executive ni ya kwamba itakuwa all inclusive, kwamba hakuna mtu ataachwa nyuma. Nitaleta uso wa Kajiado. Asante.
Thanks again. I want to clarify rules of MCA. Number 1, registration. You're making of bills, oversight in about projects. You should make sure all the projects are done according. Number 3, representation. You represent your people accordingly. And I would like to go to number 1, whereby even being, the member assembly, in 2017-2018, I pushed for the bill for the reduction of cess, counties cess, sad cess from 60,000 to 50,000, whereby I went all around in all locations, telling people about the meaning of public participation. And in the one where I succeeded, and that's where road transports are paid from 60,000 to 50,000. In my committee, I include people with disability, men and women, and business community. Thanks.
The role of the FCA, first of all, is to be very close to wananchi, so that you can be able to present their views and also present their proposals to the county assembly. And also secondly is to make sure there is the linkage between the county assembly and the electorates, so that we can be able to discuss the bills. I think those are the laws, and also legislation and oversight of those bills, so that we can be able to serve our people.
Your committee, how to be the committee?
My committee will be inclusive because this is a cosmopolitan area. I'll make sure we have the youth and also the middle class level, so that we can be able to manage the entire ward.
Okay.
Basically, the functions of an MCA is legislative, that is making and amending laws that control and govern our society. For example, business permits. They discuss and they say we are going to charge this for this business and this for this business. Our representation, that is because you elect an MCA to represent you, that is in direct democracy, whereby I say for you. And so basically whatever we discuss on the ground, that is what the MCA is supposed to go and implement. Basically, the oversight of projects, whether the project been implemented at the county level, the MCA work is to follow up on the project on the ground. My executive committee will include religious leaders, youth, people with disability, and professionals. Thank you.
Kazi ya MCA kuangalia na kusukuma matakwa ya wananchi wenye wamekuchagua kutoka kwa ward level na kusukuma miswada kwa county, kusukuma misaada ya wananchi hao kwa county na kuhakikisha kwamba yale wanataka yamepitishwa na yanaweza kuwasaidia. Pili, kwa komiti yangu ninataka kuleta watu wa Olkeri ward kabila zote pamoja na tuweze kuona kwamba kwa hii kazi yenye tunataka kufanya, vijana pamoja na wamama watakuwa katikati ya hiyo kazi na tuweze kusukuma, niweze kusukuma gurudumu yangu pamoja na wananchi wa Olkeri.
Okay, kazi ya MCA ni ku-oversight, legislate, na pia representing the electorates and keeping close contact with them. And my committee will be just very simple because it will entail professionals, religious leaders, PLWDs, women and men, and business people. Thank you.
Okay. Remember, if you're here and there's someone you'd like to listen to, the members of the County Assembly, candidates here, and you'd like to share the link with them, you can go to Know Your Leader Initiative on YouTube, and of course share the link with them. And now I would like to invite the next section led by my co-moderator, Irene. Thank you.
Hi. Thank you, my co-moderator. Waheshimiwa, my fellow residents, good evening. I want to take this opportunity first to acknowledge and appreciate our waheshimiwa. Si wametuambia vile wanafanya? Let's give a clap for them. Just a big round of applause for them. Thank you very much. Asanteni. So tumefika another section. Na kwa hii section, zile maswali ambazo tuko nazo, we have actually collected them from the residents across the board. We'll request that you take notes of the questions that we ask so that then you can respond to them appropriately. Now we have the initial two questions kwa sisi wote, waheshimiwa, please just note it down. Swali ya kwanza itakuwa, what have you accomplished within the Olkeri ward so far that exhibits your potential for good leadership? In other words, what have you done so far that we would say why you and not somebody else? Then the second question, what do you think are the priority issues in Olkeri ward that you intend to address either legislatively or representatively or whichever area once you're elected? Now, Mheshimiwa Gatho, a question for you here, sir. What strategy will you use to ensure equitable access to ward resources such that the wards with higher populations in the Kajiado County receive more funds than the wards that have a less population? This question also goes to Mheshimiwa Simon. Mheshimiwa Simon, please take note of that question as well. What strategies will you use to ensure that there is equitable access to ward resources such that the wards that have higher populations within the Kajiado County receive more funds than those with less population? We have a question here for Bwana Kefason and Mheshimiwa Kamau. What is your plan or strategy to support entrepreneurs or business people within the Olkeri ward? What's your plan or what's your strategy? Remember the initial two questions, you will respond to those. We have another question for Mheshimiwa George Munene. Bwana George, swali lako, what strategy will you use to introduce and move bills in the county assembly? What strategy will you use? Hilo swali tafadhali Bwana Richard, please speak the question as well. We have another question here for Mheshimiwa Matoke. The question to you is, what policies will you table in the county assembly for young people to acquire employable skills? And Bwana Gideon, Mheshimiwa Gideon, please respond to that question as well. And then we have another question here For Bwana Simon again, the question here is, what strategy will you put in place to promote mental health and also address the issue of drugs and alcohol abuse amongst children and young people, or the youth within our ward? Then I have, for this round of questions, I have a final question here for Mheshimiwa Ngatho. What bills or policies are currently in place or are required to support business people in the Olkeri ward? And what will you do to ensure that those kind of policies are in operation for the benefit of the business people? Mheshimiwa Dennis, kindly also pick on that question. So if we can have those let me just ask a few more. Mheshimiwa Rachel, we have a question here for you. The question here is, how will you ensure that the road infrastructure in Olkeri is improved? You didn't tell us anything about the road, so kindly respond to that. And as well as Mheshimiwa Rachel, again for you, what will you do differently to ensure a proper waste management system is established within the Olkeri ward, including garbage, sewage, and runoff water? Mheshimiwa Gibson, respond to that question as well. Mheshimiwa Ngatho, kindly respond to that question as well. So for this round, we are going to ping-pong the questions. So I'll just call on you and kindly respond. We have exactly 2 minutes. The timekeeper, we have exactly 2 minutes for each of the questions. So allow us to start off with Mheshimiwa Simon. Please take it up.
My first question is my accomplishment in Olkeri ward. During my community work, I've been able to lobby and also establish an ECD program in our community, that is Olosolutia. So far, we have an ECD program that was conducted for us by the county government. What now we are waiting is to open it officially, and our children will be going there maybe after the election. Number two, I'm able to initiate many community initiatives like welfare that have been able to unite a whole village and also the ward. So I've done so much in my community work, both in my community and also in other environments. Number two, the priority issues of Olkeri. Basically, it is the equal education, that is the ECD program, infrastructure, and also piped water. So in case I get the power, I'll be able to initiate and continue with those projects. My next question is equitable access of funds and resources. Given a chance by the people of Olkeri, I'll introduce bills that will help us be able to share well our resources. That is the highly populated places and also other areas. So mine there will be introducing bills and also lobbying the county government to help us in that area. Lastly, it is about promoting mental health and drug abuse. When I take power in August 9, I'll be able to provide a resource center for our young people, and also I introduce bill whereby in case you're into drugs, there will be that rehabilitation and other assistance from the county government. So in those 4 areas, my work basically will be lobbying and also will be initiating legislative and also will be helping the people of Olkeri. May God bless you.
Thank you very much. Mheshimiwa Ngatho, kindly take it up.
Thank you very much, moderator. On what I have done for the community, I have 9 years experience in insurance. I'm an insurance expert. And I've employed, I was able to set a brokerage firm that employs more than 20 people who earn their daily bread from that. Number 2, I was one of the founder members of one of the biggest Matatu circles around, called Nankis Circle Society Limited, that has employed over 500 people. I was also former chairman of Ukristo na Ufanisi wa Anglikana Circle for 6 years, whereby we were able to uplift families. When we joined that society, the society had a capital of 1.2 billion. I was able to raise more than 1 billion shillings in terms of deposits, and left it at 2.2 billion, and resigned recently to come and run for this MCA seat. And that circle has uplifted lives. Many have acquired property. Many have been able to educate their children. Many have been able also to build their families and also have good livelihoods through that society.
1 minute to go.
1 minute to go, thank you. And on registration, I think I'll be able to introduce bills that will cater for licensing, especially for public institutions like churches that are able to offload the surplus of maybe the education system or the extra students who are not able to learn in the public schools because of the way they are so much saturated. Number two, I'll be able to also to introduce a bill that we're able to join roads that are not through roads. We have a problem with roads that have dead ends, and they have not been able to be repaired by the county assembly because there is no law that guides those roads to be repaired. And also make sure that we are introducing also very good bills that will be able to hamper people to be able to pay licenses that are affordable to be able to uplift the business community.
Thank you. In the next round, please respond to the question on the businesses. For now, tupate Bwana Kefason, Mheshimiwa Kefason, please respond to your questions.
Yes, what I've done for Olkeri people, first and foremost, I've been an entrepreneur in the ICT sector for the last 15 years, and I've been able to support the young ones, especially the ones who are looking for internship. And secondly, I've been able to give food to less privileged, especially this COVID time since 2020 until March this year. That's when I stopped. So that's what I've been doing. And also my priority, I said, is to make sure we have enough schools. That's 3 new ECD schools. That's my priority. And also water connection. Like now we have ready-made boreholes. The only thing which is missing is the connection, which could cost around 10 million shillings for that connection to be done. That's my priority. And also, as I promised, that I'll make sure that in the first 100 days, I'll be able to make sure that we have an ambulance, because we have a challenge for somebody who is in Lekuruki, Kahara, and also Gitugut at the other side of close to Gataka. That is what I'm looking at to do. And then the plan for the support of the entrepreneurship.
1 minute to go.
Thank you. I'll make sure the Matasia market is going to be operational. Right now you see it's already done, but it's close, it's not operational. Secondly, from this other side, if you go from Acacia to Kiserian, we have akina mama mboga wako kando kwa barabara. I'll make sure that we bring a new market on this other side so that we can be able to tap that business, and also for the Hawa youths to get more jobs on that. And also I'll make sure I'll try to table a bill to try to waiver the bills, that's the licenses, because we realize some businesses, the people are being overworked on paying for the licenses. That is what I stand for in terms of business.
Okay, thank you, Mheshimiwa. If we can have Mheshimiwa Kamau, tafadhali, jibu maswali yako.
Thank you. Hope you are not counting the wasted second. Thank you.
We are counting.
Thank you. Kamau Karaoke Jubilee candidate, Olkeri Ward. What have I done to the community? Actually, I'm a community health volunteer. And actually, I've been helping people on referrals. I've been also a chairman during the National Youth Council. I've been a vice chairman, National Youth Council, Olkeri Ward. I've been actually to help so many youth. And also I've been an opportunity grabber for the youth, and they know that. And actually, during 2020, 2021, when the government actually was working on a national hygiene program, the Kazi Mtaani, I managed actually to mobilize over 800 youth, and actually some of them up to date, they are still working on the field. Also, I've managed also, because actually I've been working in a ICT sector. I'm a ICT instructor in various areas. I've managed to train so many youth on a free charge, on a free charge in my office. And over some of these youth actually, they have actually secured a job in various places. Also, I've been a volunteer in various areas, and actually areas of environment, and also other areas actually of my career. When it comes to the priorities that I have, it's in infrastructure. I've actually learned actually in Olkeri world, when you talk about the feeder roads, they are very poor. and lighting. And so far, actually, I've identified the 3 main roads that actually I'll be working on. And actually, that is the Masai Road, actually, that connect Kahara. There's another road connecting Kahuho. There's another road, Kanisani, and the Smith. Actually, I have identified those roads that I'll be working on them as my priority on infrastructure. And also health. I'll be lobbying actually that we can have a more health facility, one in Upper Matasia and another in Lemelepo location. Also,
Time is up, Mwalimu. Thank you very much. Asante, tuwapigie makofi tafadhali. As we continue, so Mheshimiwa George Munene, tafadhali jibu maswali yako.
Thanks again. I was asked which strategies will I use to pass bill. I think that one.
Okay, so Mheshimiwa George, your question, maswali yalikuwa haya. So far, what have you accomplished within the Olkeri ward? Okay. And then swali la pili, what is the priority that you will address either legislatively or representatively ama pande ya oversight?
Okay, thanks.
And then you had a specific question, what strategy will you use to introduce or move bills within the county assembly?
Okay. First one, what I've done in Olkeri, it still shows. I've been one of the forefront in pushing for the people those people who have no fees to acquire or to enroll themselves in secondary school. That one untouched. The other wing, I've been one of the people, or one of the candidates who have in the forefront in cementing or making sure all roads are good. The other one, I've been in the position of making sure as a business sector, they acquire loans even if it's from SACCOs. Finishing that one, I've been still in the forefront on making sure all students, all people who lack sanitary products have been providing. On the issues of which strategy will I use, I've been there, not in parliament, not in the county assemblies, but I've been pushing for people or making people attend public participation, as I said earlier. I'll make sure, when I realize my people, to attend those public participation. So ideas, those ideas, plus representation of them, the signs, they have attended in quite a good number. And when it comes to the county assembly, I'll talk with my colleague and show them, the goodness of the bill I'm trying to pass and how is it effective to our community. Still, I'll try to, from the others, maybe not from my party, and show them the goodness of such bills. Santi.
Okay, Mheshimiwa George. Mheshimiwa Richard, tafadhali respond to the same question.
Yes. Good evening once again. What I have done to Olkeri people. You know, it is a headache for each and every child to be admitted in school without a birth certificate. I have assisted more than 850 parents who are unable to get a birth certificate from Kajiado. I have done 4 roads which were forgotten by the sitting MCA. That is Kanisan Road, Kamura, and the other 2 Dams Road. What I will do in development funds, I will introduce a bill so that MCAs may get development fund in their kit. As we sit here, we are just saying what we can do in 100 days, not knowing that MCAs are not given development funds. They normally go to the knees of the governors to beg for development make it. Thank you very much.
On Kamura Road.
Yes.
There's a question here that we received that Kamura was being tarmacked, then it stopped. What is happening with the road? Because the residents are saying the tarmacking has stopped. So if you said you've worked on the road,
Not the main one at Kamura, but the feeder to the quarry. There are those people who normally work at quarries at Kamura
yeah.
for ballast. But that road from Nini Kamura, the main road, I understood that the contractor will be on site next year, February.
So there's just a slight delay, but the road will be done.
We are not sure. We are not sure.
Okay, so what are we saying exactly? Are we saying that the road will be done or the road might be done?
It depends. If it is, I didn't want to mention a party.
No, I'm just saying, just tell us, will the road be done or it might be done? You know.
You see, this is an existing, the government which is there, the national government which is there, is exiting from power. So you're expecting another new government. If it is maybe UDA, we might have hope of doing that road.
So then let me ask this. Let me ask this before we move on.
Yes.
What do you think is the problem? Because all of you here have mentioned that you have plans for infrastructure, right?
Yes.
You've all told us you have plans for that. My question is, what is the problem with the current, in terms of implementing infrastructure, what is the problem and what do you think as a candidate you will be doing different? And as you answer this question, I would also direct the same to Mheshimiwa Simon and Mheshimiwa Gatho. Kindly mark that. And those of you who are going to answer on infrastructure, kindly mark that. What do you think is the problem and what do you think you were to do different? Because everybody, like we have said, yourself, you've said, the road has been allocated, but hatujui ni lini.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me answer it the way I think. This is a national road. It is done by KERA, Kenya Rural Road Authority, and the funds were given to a Chinese contractor. And there was a time I petitioned the shareholders or the stakeholders of that road because I wanted to do it just to give it a first aid. But it was said that the contractor is on site. But I later understood that he will come there next year, February. The problem with this road is that there was no involvement in community education. Okay?
So there was no civil participation?
Civil participation, that is. And it was just a matter of the contractor on site and that's all. Hata alikuja akaharibu drainage zilikuweko. Na ndiye ikawa zaidi mbaya. Thank you.
Okay, okay. So Gatho, the same issue. What is the problem with, and whenever it comes to roads, what do you think is the problem and what are you going to do differently?
Thank you so much, moderator. I think first is understanding under whose jurisdiction does the road fall. And first and foremost,
we say no clapping, tafadhali. Just wait for him to finish, then you can raise your applauses.
Let me take an example of that Kamura Road. I know Kamura Road is under Kenya Rural Roads Authority and it's supposed to be done by the national government. And as Mheshimiwa Kapoya has complimented the UDA party, I think once we fall in power, we'll be able to do that road through the MP, and the MP will be elected, maybe under the UDA party. I don't know if he's in the floor of this house, Mr. Ngogoyo, will be able to do that road. And these other feeder roads are under the county, and the feeder roads being under the county, those are the roads that we are supposed to push and make sure that there is proper oversight when everything falls in place. Being an MCA does not put you off from also oversighting and making sure that government funds that come from the national government are utilized in a good way. So we also rally our people to be able to get the BQs and get the standard of the roads that are supposed to be done so that we are able to follow according to the said rules and procedures of doing certain roads. Thank you very much.
Simon, you have a minute for this.
Mine is to air about the problems of infrastructure. Number one is the misunderstanding of national and county government responsibilities in regards to. So the county government loads include the feeder loads, the national government include the Class A loads, like Masai load in Olkeri. That load is for the national government. For Mula is also for the national government. So also the community participation. Whenever loads are set, there's no public participation. You just find the contractor on the ground. So also that's a challenge. Two is a community conflict, whereby if someone is touched by the load, he does not want to move away from it. Lastly, also is way different. Mine will be lobbying the government, both the county and national government, and also I will initiate what we call community initiatives, whereby I will include the people of Olkeri towards their infrastructure. Thank you very much.
Please, whenever you're getting the mic, just give them a second, they will switch on your mic. You don't need to tap on the mic. So, Madam Rachel, let's come to you. Answer the question on the road and also the question you were asked earlier.
I'll switch on to Kiswahili, please kindly. What Madam Rachel have accomplished, nimekuwa CHV for 9 years. Mambo ya health nimeifanya vilivyo, sababu kama ni saidia wa mama about Rida Mamba, I have helped many people. Kama ni mambo ya sanitization about health, I'm in for it na nimefanya kwa community. Mambo ya education bado niko na operation mtoto akae kwa darasa, nimepeleka watoto wengi shule, and I have increased girl child sana. Though even boys wamekuwa wakisoma na ninafuatilia sana. Mambo ya basari, nimekuwa secretary CDA for 5 years. Make sure each and every kid amepata basari through MP's office mwenye ako Manje. Also in roads nimejaribu feeder roads zenye nimeweza through some networks. Street right wenye wako area within the Merepo location wanajua ni Merobe na kuna street right within, so security iko at least we have tried. Also within Kamura area, Kiserian Secondary, I sanitized about drug abuse na imeenda chini. So those are my accomplishments. What I do, first priority, nitashughulika na mambo ya health, marshals. We do security marshals, first aiding, so I have started already. I'm not going to start, but I have started already. How will I ensure about roads? I'll go through networking, and I will improve the roads, most feeder roads, sababu zinakaa vibaya, niko huku najua zenye ni mbaya na zenye zitaimproviwa. About waste, sewerage and water, I'll hook up with the institutions zenye zinahusika na hizo mambo, na nitaongea na wao, then we know what to do. Thank you.
Oh, asante sana, Mheshimiwa Rachel. We had a few more questions remaining. Mheshimiwa Matoke, ulikuwa na maswali? Kindly respond to your questions.
Thank you, Madam again. My accomplishment that I've done within Olkeri ward, I have been a forefront runner for farming, and I think one of my fellow panelists here, he knows me very well. I'm a good farmer, and I want to keep on doing that. Number two, I've paid for school fees for many people, and still I'm paying in our area. Number three is I've assisted many people to get passports and birth certificates. That's, I think, my few accomplishments. Then my priorities, which is number two question, it will be mainly security. There's nothing that you can be able to do or any development without security. we'll make sure that we are able to link ourselves together with the security agents and security people on how to keep the security so that we can be able to do any involvement that we'll be able to do. Number two, my second priority will be education.
Your time. 1 minute left.
Okay. Environment, and finally employment. In the event that I'm in the county assembly as an MCA, I have 4 main bills that I bring forward. Number one, and the most important, is a talent. We need to tap in our Olkeri ward as we proceed. Number two will be sports. If we involve ourselves in sports, even talent will come in very easily. Number three, we look at farming, because many times we think that farming is for all people. Farming is for all of us, because all of us depend on farming to eat and do everything. And finally, I'll bring a bill for honoring the old people, or our people who have passed on within Olkeri ward. Like now the roads we have 2 Masai roads. We can change one, we nickname it to somebody who is prominent in our area, so that the young people can get to know if you do well in the society, you'll be recognized even when you are dead. Thank you.
Swali lingine hapa lilikuwa kwa Bwana Dennis. Bwana Dennis, please respond to your question.
Swali yangu ilikuwa juu ya barabara, na mimi nimekuwa nikifanya kazi ya property, na nimeingia pale ndani nikafanya barabara kadhaa za kuingia kwa mashamba mahali ya kukuwa na barabara. Kwa hivyo mimi kwa mabarabara haya nimejifunza kitu, kwamba barabara kutengeneza si ghali sana, lakini ni watu wenye wanaangalia hizo barabara wanakuwa hawako. Kwa hivyo kwa maneno ya barabara kama za Olkeri ward, tuna barabara moja kama ya kuingia dam, na tuko na barabara ingine ya kuingia Gateigoro. Mimi nitahakikisha kwamba kwa kazi zile nitafanya kwa county, hizo barabara nitaziunganisha, na pia nitaangalia venye zitafanywa.
Continue.
Nitaangalia vile hizo barabara zitafanywa, na pia kwa maneno ya kuhakikisha kwamba watu wamepata nafasi za kazi za county. Nimekuwa pia kwa biashara ya maji. Na nimefanya biashara ya maji. Mimi mwenyewe niko na kampuni ya maji. Kwa hivyo pia tutaangalia maneno ya barabara, maneno ya maji vile itakuwa, ndio tuweze kusonga mbele pamoja. Asante.
All right. Now, Madam Rachel, as you know, we are live, and questions are coming in, and there's someone who wants to know, pesa ya Women Brigade ilienda wapi? Yes, that's what they have asked.
Which brigade? Specific?
They are not specific. They have just said that Madam Rachel tukuulize pesa ya Women Brigade ilienda wapi?
There is Women Brigade. The time I was in UDA, if I don't, sijui kama niyo anauliza, but there was no money that I was given out that I didn't give out to the specific receivers.
So you were telling us here, you're saying here categorically on record that hiyo pesa ilifika?
Ilifika.
So if you're following this, she says that if you have more information, kindly send it to us.
Yeah, give me and tell me which brigade is it.
Okay, okay. Then there's this question, Cabro, you've been quite quiet. What do you intend to do to manage the runoff water, also the drainage system that is a problem within Olkeri ward?
Okay, thank you, Bwana Moderator. About the runoff water and the drainage, I think it's the sole responsibility of every individual. For instance, in every plot or every household, it is a sole responsibility for an individual. We have to be very serious, and we have to come with a policy in place whereby if water is running from your homestead or from your entity, you are the one responsible, because you're supposed to channel it to the right ways. If we have tunnels, if we have pipes, or if it's about sewage, sewer line, it is your sole responsibility to channel it there.
Are you saying if for those of us who are living in plots, you will penalize the owners of the plots if the water is not channeled right?
Yeah, basically what I mean, it is a sole responsibility of the plot owner. It is not the one who is, you're not the one.
You as an MCA, what's your role in that? Do you bring a bill? Do you ensure that it's being followed? What exactly is your role?
Okay, for instance, like now there is a bill that was brought up about water harvesting, that it's going to be sole responsibility of the owner. So the same thing will happen towards the sewer line. We will try and bring a bill all together in conjunction with the county government and with the governor. We get the right way. For instance, now we have a sewage place there that is a project that is supposed to be undertaken by the national government.
You have a minute.
In Kahoho. So what we are supposed to do, or what I will do as an MCA, I will make sure any sewage that is seen running on the road or anywhere, it will be the sole responsibility of the plot owners or the households, because they are supposed to come or to have a way of controlling it.
All right.
And also, I can touch in infrastructure, please, if you allow me. According to me, I think the way we are going to tackle this infrastructure, maybe roads or any infrastructure, first and foremost, to me, I will be very careful and I will be going for competency, not friendship or anything else.
What do you mean competency? I think
competency in a way that if one is given a contract,
yes,
you get my point.
Yes.
If one is given a contract,
but isn't your role? You're not involved in the giving the contract. Yours is to oversee that whoever is given the contract does their job. Isn't that your job?
That is my role, and I agree, and that's why I am the oversight.
Yes.
So if it is not done well, it is also my role as the oversight to make sure that it's done the proper way. Because at the end of the day, the electorates, they will always bring the blame to the MCA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Karaoke, the other karaoke. Do you think that there is accountability in terms of curbing nepotism, tribalism, and what will you do to make sure that every allocation does reach, if it is meant for young people, it does get to young people. If it's meant for women, it does get to women. If it's meant for the disabled people, it does get to them. What will you do in terms of that? And do you think there is discrimination within our wards? Let's start there.
That's
yes,
for me.
you.
Yes, there is a lot of discrimination among our ward, basically for youth and women. And I've grown up in an institution. I grew up with Luya, I grew up with Kisii, I grew up with Kikuyu, I grew up with every sort of a tribe. And so what I will do is that we'll be able to accommodate every individual, whether you are a young man, whether you're a woman, whether you are a man, whatever kind of a tribe you come from, I'll be able to accommodate you within my registration.
Okay. Earlier you mentioned something about an ambulance. You will deliver an ambulance. Would you elaborate on that?
That was not me.
That was not you?
But I'll prefer if I get the position. No
it was
problem.
you? Okay. Would you elaborate on that? I would like to know about the ambulance. Is there no mic there? There should be one.
Thank you. I hope, Mr. Monena, you are not hiding the microphone. Drop me my minutes. Okay, maybe before I come to the ambulance, there was also a question on my priority.
Yeah.
And I did mention on education. And actually, in Olkeri, there are some ECD that actually currently are not running. We have one at Dam and another at Olosurutia, and I'm intending to open them once I come in power, and also create more, and especially in Upper Matasia and Kandisi. The question of ambulance, I've actually noted that in our health facility that is one main that actually was brought about by Mheshimiwa Ngedienye. You find at Matasia, yes, it is equipped, though it's not fully, which actually we shall work on, But still, we need an ambulance because most of the ambulances actually that we have, you find them in private health facility. So for me, as the incoming MCA Jubilee candidate in Olkeri, I will make sure that we'll have an ambulance in our health facility as I lobby for more health facilities in other areas in Olkeri ward. Thank you.
It's being said, Jefferson, that you're the one who raised the issue of ambulance. Would you like to respond to the issue?
Kifsin.
Okay, do go ahead.
Yeah, sure. That was my point. And I said within 100 days, and someone, I have to give a rebuttal that when I say 100 days, you know, Olkeri is so unique from other wards. This is like a constituency. If you go to a place like Kahara, you think like you are in somewhere, mashinani uko ndani kabisa, where someone, even to get a taxi is a problem. So our women, our mama wazee, they have a challenge to travel or to reach those hospitals. I'll make sure I lobby and make sure that on that budget that we are going to have on the health in the first 100 days is one of the proposals that is going to be included on that one, so that we can be able to cap that gap which is missing there for that hospital in Matasia. Because like for the emergency cases, you find that most mamas, they are using boda. Tuseme kama ni mjamzito nafikiwa, you know, most of them they even deliver along the road. So that's what I'm planning. That's why I'm saying that for the first 100 days, that's one of the key things that I'm looking at.
Okay, Shege, let me come to you. You did talk about something that all of us do know is a problem here, fresh water. So I would like to know what you think is a problem, and also what you plan to do in terms of ensuring that every household does get fresh water. More so, there is an area that says they have a consistent problem, that is Lemelepo and Rimpa areas. They're saying for them, maji is like gold there. So what do you think you'll do in that sector?
Thank you very much. Nilikuwa nimenyamaza sana nikaona ni kama nimesaulika. But vijana tuko na shida mingi. Wacha ni mention one thing about, you asked a question before and I didn't have an opportunity to even share a bit about if there are groups which feel like they have been left out. Indeed, the young people feel like they have been left out in government. And the reason to this is because if you look at spaces, even political spaces, there have not been affirmative action towards the young people to be in positions. For example, take Kenya. Kuna women rep positions. They were created specifically for women. What spaces have we created for young people? Maybe it's a high time to fikiri kiti ya MCA. Maybe we might create it specifically for the youth. I don't know. But we need affirmative actions towards that. And in access of funds, ya youth. Every time you apply, sijui kama kuna watu wangapi hapo wame apply youth fund? Ama hii fund ya county government, ya Kajiado, ya youth? Anyone here? When you apply for this youth fund, you are required to have something called collateral. Kijana amemaliza, to take for example, amemaliza university. Where will the young person get title deed ya apply for 300,000? The only money unaweza patio kama kikundi ni 45,000. And let's take that for example, 45,000 in a group of 15. Gawanisha 45,000. What is that money? 3,000. Na unaingojea miezi mitatu. We feel like the young people have been forgotten in the development of this county. Finally, nikijibu hii issue ya maji. Na nasikia mheshimiwa Ngogoyo anakuja sana. With the bill that he proposed, water harvesting bill, na ikapitishwa 2020 na ikasainiwa na Lenko. That bill is very clear. If we are able to tap rainwater in our apartments, in our villages, that will be a source for fresh water for us as a county. Because county yetu haina source ingine ya fresh water. Either we drill boreholes ama hizi water pans. And lastly, kuna swali ilikuwa imepatiwa Bwana David, na Mheshimiwa David, sorry. Na hiyo swali ni about runoff water. Hii runoff water, and especially if it is rain water that is running off, we have to collect this water through water channels. And we direct that water, especially in Keserian, to direct your maji kwa dam. During rainy seasons, we create water channels za collect runoff water na tunaipeleka in the right place. And that water is going to be used finally for our consumption through ile kuisafisha. Asanteni sana na nitaongezea vitu zingine tukiendelea.
Sawa. So I would like to ask Irene to continue.
I have a few questions here. Question number one, is there any Mheshimiwa sitting here that can candidly give a response to the residents of Rimpa Kandisi area? There is piping here, fresh water that has been done, but somehow that whole area was excluded. Is there anyone who would want to take 1 minute to respond to that? Mheshimiwa Richard.
A couple of them actually.
Habari zenyu. Hii maji ya Rimpa ambayo inasemekana ilikuja na ikapita Rimpa, tulipetition kama wakaaji wa huko, na na tayari wanaweka ati pale juu karibu na Mashuria ama area na Lepo hapo. Ni vile tu ilikuwa nadhani walikuwa wamesahau kidogo. Thank you.
Karaoke, you wanted to address the same.
Yeah, sure. Maybe before I address that.
Kindly, let's stick to it.
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
come
to
back
that,
to
yeah,
you.
yeah,
We'll
yeah,
come back to you.
yeah, but actually, because actually that is a government deliverable.
Okay.
And somebody actually mentioned about one of the road actually at
Your time
Olkeri.
is going
Yes,
on,
yeah,
please.
Olkeri.
Yeah, okay.
And actually, I want to tell you guys, we understand that actually the Jubilee government has delivered. And actually, because of the problem that we actually have the world in the world, the crisis, the global crisis, and I believe that road will be done in the near future. The issue of water, let me say, actually, the same thing the government is thinking about the people of Kajiado. And actually, that pipe is passing through Olkeri water. And at the moment, actually, we felt actually we are left out. As one of my brother, Kapoya, have just said, Mheshimiwa Kapoya have just said, there's a petition, and I believe by the time that actually they finish with the infrastructure, that water infrastructure, I believe the people of Olkeri ward will benefit from that ward. So we are not neglected. The government is working. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mheshimiwa Gideon, we have a question for you. The same area, Rimpa, Kandisi, Olekasasi, there is that road that was being was being constructed. It was done halfway. This is the road that the SGR has passed through, and there was a promise between the SGR that they were going to do an CSR, some kind of support within that area, because that is the road they were using when the SGR was being constructed. So should you be elected, Mheshimiwa, what would you do about that road to actually get it working?
Okay, thank you again. And I believe any project that has been started by the government, it does not end with the previous government. And I promise, if elected, I'll lobby, and I lobby for the project to be completed by going to the right agencies and seek for the right information, and then push for the same to be completed. Thank you.
Thank you. Another question for you, Mheshimiwa. What will be your role and strategy, or what will be your role and what strategy will you apply to have the intended municipality in Kajiado North in operation?
Okay, as we all know, there was that municipality which was set in Kajiado, but we have not had so much of it. But then, if elected, I will ensure that it is operationalized by going to the right agencies again and know what could be the hindrances, and then come back to my community and mobilize for the same through the county assembly, and then we get the solution for the same.
Asante sana, Mheshimiwa Kefason. Please help us to understand what you would do with regards to the municipality to get it in operation.
As I know, there is a municipality in Kajiado and also in Ngong, and I know we had a professional who is Mheshimiwa Barisme. He had come up with a plan which is supposed to be effected so that it can be able to work. Maybe I'll just lobby and find out what really exactly is happening, but also I'll make sure that whatever which is supposed to be actioned is going to be done. So what I know, the plan is already been done, it's seated there, it's only to be actioned, and then everything will be okay in that.
Asante sana. A final question from the moderator's table here. Mheshimiwa Gatho, you indicated that you will work, you will ensure that there is public participation in decision making. So how exactly will you go about ensuring that there is proper public participation amongst the citizens of Olkeri Ward, bearing in mind that citizens in Olkeri Ward rarely really get into public participation processes? What will you do about that?
Thank you very much, moderator. I think easier said than done. The best way to approach public participation, the old traditional way is barazas in area, sub-locations or locations. But with technology and many ways of communication, I think I'll employ all divisive ways of communication to make sure that information is channeled on time, and those who don't participate fully, those who are not able to attend the barazas will be able to get the information firsthand and also be able to come in through the social media platforms and also the electronic technology that is now live, and will be able to reach each and every person. We'll also be able to do billboards in many main feeder roads, to channel our communication through plugging our information there, and also maybe provide a vehicle that will be able to call people for public participation early on time so that we're able to get the good numbers that we deserve. Thank you.
Asante Mheshimiwa David, the same question. What exactly will you do? Tutapiga makofi baadaye, thank you. What exactly will you do to enhance public participation within Olkeri Ward?
Okay, nitakuwa na hakikisha ya kwamba wherever we want any development or any project to come in place, public participation will be open in every sub-location. We will align along with the area chiefs so that they can be able to mobilize, we can be able to mobilize as much as possible as we can, so that we can have a good number to make sure that we get to each and every person to come and participate and give their own views. Asante.
Okay. You want to respond, Bonachek?
Comment
Since
on the
you
same
said the
briefly.
youth are mobilized, marginalized, I'll allow you for a minute.
Thank you very much. Asante sana. Vijana lazima tusimame kwa bidii. Wacha niseme hivi kwa ufupi about public participation. As I've been a minister for many years, for a few years, and as a minister you realize the church plays a very critical role within the community. And in Olkeri Ward we have over 200 churches, kanisa mingi sana. And in these churches there are populations. Na hizi population, if we select 2 people from every church, na tukuwe na kongamano, na tuweze kuongea kama mimi kama mheshimiwa MCA wa hii ward yetu ya Olkeri, by the grace of God, we talk about the money that we've received, what we want to do and where we are going to do it. Then those 2 individuals from those churches will take that message to their congregation, and the pastor will be able to share that message with the entire congregation, and it has spread hivyo kwa community. I feel that is an easier way, but also including welfare associations kwa ile mkutano tunaita every 2 members from every church in this ward. Asanteni sana.
Asante sana mheshimiwa. Tafadhali tuwapigie makofi. I would like to say this, waheshimiwa. I personally really appreciate you. The fact that we called you and you took time to come and speak to us, the residents, sisi wenye tumekaa pande hii. We really treasure you, we acknowledge you. Tuwapigie makofi tafadhali tena. The other thing I believe therefore is that our MCA is definitely seated here. Will it be you? Do what it takes. We have listened to you. Sasa wananchi, my fellow residents, we have an opportunity to pick a few questions on the floor. So you will just come over here. I don't know where Brian is. We'll just come over here, make your question very brief and precise, number 1. And then tutapata jibu likijibiwa.
There's a mic.
We have a room. Thank you. Is there a second person and maybe a third one? We first 2. Allow me to pick a question from here. There's a lady in red over there. Kindly come to the front. There is somebody at the back there. Somebody at the back there. These are 1. We need the final one here. So, the first 3 will ask their questions. We just request you can just hang in somewhere. The first three tuulize maswali, and then we will identify the mheshimiwa to pick the question. Let me see. Mheshimiwa Simon, please pick the first question. As well as, Mheshimiwa Simon, swali la kwanza. Mheshimiwa Gideon, please respond to the second question, the lady in red. And let's get Mheshimiwa Dennis, kindly respond to the third question. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much. My name is Richard, and I come from Olkeri North residents. And we had forwarded some questions to the panelists, about 11 of them. We didn't hear any of our questions being asked. However, I'll just take 3 questions if I can be allowed. The first one is that the residents had been advised that the loop from Nosim Road, that is Palace Smith, that is Nosim Road to Smith, was to be upgraded to bitumen standards, and this was being taken up by Kura and county government through the Gong municipality. Can the MCAs undertake to fast track the realization of this project? That's the first question. The second one is, given Olkeri is a fast urbanizing and given the need for development control, how will the MCA partner with the neighborhood associations to bolster control? And the third one, I heard about the water. We have seen the big pipes which were put by the national government to connect water to Olkeri alongside the northern collector tunnel. What will the MCA do? Because we know that from Kiserian to Ongatarongai, and especially up to this place, there are several places which have not been connected. And Nosim Road and the Olkeri North is part of that.
Thank you. Mheshimiwa? Simon. We can have the second question.
No, just wait.
My name is Judy Kamundia. I'm from Olkeri Ward. Arab Moi is my voting station. My concern to all of you, your leaders, and I've heard you, but I'm very concerned. I have not heard anyone talking about mental health. We all know that is a current problem, and if we don't move, we all must address mental health. None of you has talked about mental health, and we know that is the barrier from the families after the COVID period. So what are we going to do? And for me, the young people, there's a gap. We need to get the children out of the mentality that from secondary, first and foremost, I've only seen one vocational school, that is Ngong. It is only capacity of 160. So what are we doing with our secondary young men? Are we mentoring them? Where again, mental health comes in, that jobs are not just white-collar jobs. We need to mentor a fundi that they can be a building technologist, that they love their jobs, that it is a career that can pay. Because we are stuck on white-collar jobs, and that's why people are bowing to you politicians just to get a handout to vote for you, but we are forgetting the basic needs. So my prayer is that we include mental health. It is very important. Please, let's not leave it out.
Thank you.
And also the issue of vocational training, there's a serious shortage. We've not, in Kajiado, there are very few. In Kajiado North, there's only Ngong. If you can correct me if I'm wrong. And in participation, I kindly urge you, just the way we have known about you politically, why can't you do the same campaign? Why can't you come out with those lorries, the campaigning tools that you have? I've attended participation pale Matasia, and you're less than 10. We decide, Naskia Kandisi Road had 7 million. It was about some legal issues. How many of us were able to lobby?
Please. Sorry? The final question, please.
Yeah, so it's how many of us are able to lobby? Do we have a system of lawyers for the Wananchi to fight that one person who's fighting a small fence not to give us a road? Thank you.
Swali la mwisho. Please make your question brief because we have many people that would like to ask questions. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Samuel from Olkeri. 3 questions. The first one, I don't know if I'll be repeating
Please take
what she's
one
asked.
question, tafadhali.
Oh, okay. Okay, let me pick one. It's about the issue of the roads in Koroi. I think you may be aware that, I know it has been discussed, but one of the main challenges why the roads are not being done is because some people have refused to move their fences. This has been a recurrent problem for many years, and that has affected not only the tarmacking of the road or even the grading, but also the street lighting. So how are you going to address that, given that it has been a perennial issue?
Asante sana. Let's allow Waheshimiwa to first respond to those 3 questions.
Yeah, I want to respond to my question that I was asked by Richard from Northern Goloi. Number 1 was the upgraded Smith load, control of development, and piped water. Number 1, about the load, Bwana Richard, I want to say that now that you have laid it to me, when I take power on 9th of August, it will be one of my priorities, agenda, towards the following, and also lobbying of it. Number 2, about the control of development. Yeah, I understand some areas are residential, others are business, other agriculture. So I'll ensure there's a bill that protects you. Because I realize this area of Northern Goloi, basically it's a residential areas. So in case there will be any interference, we should have a bill of it, so that we can be able to control those development that comes in a bar or something of a sort. So my first 100 days, I'll introduce a bill in the county assembly. About the piped water, of course, it is human and also human right for everyone to have water. So when I take power on 9th of August, I'll ensure whatever you have said, Richard, my administration will ensure that is done. So these questions basically will be lobbying and follow up when I take power on 9th of August. About the mental health, about the lady who has spoken, I'm a social expert in that area, that lady from far end there. So I understand there's those lessons to be taught, a resource center for that, and many other checkups. So when I take power on 9th of August, we shall work with you and many people who have interest in mental health programs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. The next question, tafadhali.
The next question was about the mental health, and I think it's a great concern in our area. I appreciate that question from Madam Judy Kamundia. And actually, I promise, when I get there, I would actually facilitate for a forum so that we bring in professional counselors so as they can come and talk to our people of our great Olkeri ward, so as we can try to help those with those issues, and not only those, we invite many members so as they can come and get that professional counseling. But before then, we can also try amongst ourselves to bring in voluntary counselors who can come in and help in this issue, so as we can at least mitigate on this, because it's a great concern.
Thank you.
Before, maybe you could donate a minute for me, because the rest you asked them what they had done in the area of Olkeri before, but I did not get that chance.
I'll give you 1 minute.
Thank you.
Timekeeper.
Thank you, the moderator.
That shows you're able to lobby for us in the county assembly, so 1 minute for you.
Thank you again. Okay, previously I had had an opportunity to serve my area of locality in Olkeri Primary School as a BOM chair, whereby we are able to mobilize for resources to improve the infrastructure of that school in many ways, and also help in raising the standard of education in the same school. I have also helped to form many self-help groups for the youth in the area, as well as women, whereby you have been able to mobilize for resources for them to be able to start small businesses, so as they can uplift their livelihoods. Thank you.
Sana Mheshimiwa, the final question. Yes, Mheshimiwa Richard.
Hello, can I add on the 4th question and the 5th question, please?
In the 1 minute.
Yeah. Mental health, a question from our young lady there. if I'm elected, I will build rehabilitation center. We need one at Olkeri. And Goroi Road, we have environmental court. I'll petition the court to come on site because most of the people normally take orders to stop the contractor from making the road. Maybe, for example, that one, Goroi Road. When we were doing it, we had a lot of challenges from the residents there. And since now we have an environmental court in Kajiado, we shall request the court to revisit that issue of roads.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa. We had the third question. Please let's respond to the third question. Mheshimiwa Mwalimu Kamau and Mheshimiwa Gado, you have a question?
On question number 2 asked by Richard.
Okay.
And also question...
1 minute kindly, time
Thank
keeper.
you. On the neighborhood association, I'm very well knowledgeable about Goroi North community, and I know where your question is coming from, and I want to shed more light. This is very well anchored in the Constitution of 2010, in the Physical Planning Act, and I know you can be able to work hand in hand with the county and the physical planning department so that your neighborhood is well anchored and we are able to control that within the law. So in issues of physical planning and also neighborhood association, that is anchored very well in the 2010 Constitution, in the County Government Act, and also the physical planning department. And the other question is from Judy Kamundia on mental health. I think this is a disability that is not well articulated too. And in the county, there's a department that offers psychosocial support to mentally disabled persons. And I think I'll lobby for that so that we can have them sorted as part of the people who are marginalized. Thank you very much.
Asante Mheshimiwa. Mheshimiwa Kamau, 1 minute only as we get the third question.
Thank you. Actually, I want to just to answer question number 2 and also maybe go back maybe to the question on water. Actually, there is a bill that actually was introduced by Mheshimiwa Ngogoyo on water collection during the county sitting. And you people, you understand actually in Ngong Hills, we have springs of fresh water that actually once I get to power, I'll push a bill that I'll be allowed to collect that fresh water from that spring that actually will serve the people of Upper Matasia and Lower Matasia through the gravity. The question on mental health, actually, mental is a health society. I've come to realize after 2020 COVID, you'll find so many people are sick, including people who are here. They are very sick. We are living in a sick society. And you'll find, I want to bring about a professional, the mental professional in our schools and in our health facility where people actually can get these services at a very low cost because we need a mental for a healthy nation.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. That was an extra time. So we had the third question. Please respond to the third question. Let's request Mheshimiwa Kabro. Tumeambiwa tukuite Kabro. Please respond to the third
point
question.
of correction, Kabro haitakuwa kwa ballot. So ni David Mungai Ndongo.
Okay.
And for
Thank you,
clarity,
Mheshimiwa.
for those who are following us through YouTube, it's good for us to be clear on that. Okay. The question.
The third question had to do with the situation where they need to do the roads. But then, yeah, got it.
Sure. Okay, especially I have heard someone mention about Goroi North. First and foremost, I think these court battles have been delaying us from improving our roads. And as Mheshimiwa Kapoya has stated about the environmental court, we will have a team to deal with the court battles, while we move on with workings on our roads. We will include our county survey to go around, and he is going to help us to know who or who is not supposed to extend their fences and everything else, so that we can be able to make our roads drainage-wise. Because for me, it translates, yearly road maintenance is becoming very expensive, whereby we can channel these funds to other sources, to do other activities. But because of shoddy jobs that are done, for me, it will be typically, and I will be involving the county surveyors. And if you are requested to move, we will just call for a baraza within the area, and we agree for each and everybody. We have a participation all together. If you are requested to move, you move, so that we can be able to do better roads.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. We had another 2 questions. Please go ahead, ask your question.
Good evening. My name is Sylvester Ngatia, resident of Olkeri and an opinion
Just
leader.
a minute. Tafadhali Mheshimiwa Rachel, please pick that question.
I want first to appreciate you so much for the efforts that you are, and even coming for us to scrutinize you. One, I want you to affirm to Olkeri residents that you are ready, once you are elected, to work with the county government that will be in place and the national government that will be in place, because we have been having that challenge in Olkeri ward for a long time. Secondly, I would like you to tell us what is your position with the children with disability, especially the young ones at the ECD classes, and how will you tackle the challenges of our senior citizens who are in the houses and they are sick and they are not able to feed themselves?
Thank you very much. Mheshimiwa Rachel, you'll respond to that question. We have another question. Yes, sir. Let's have him first.
All the protocols observed. Good afternoon.
1
Good evening.
minute. Mheshimiwa Chege, kindly pick that question.
There's a candidate here. He or she has talked about the gender-based violence, although it might be seen that a small issue, but can you tell us how will you assimilate to this problem? On the second question is, the boy child amewachwa kando. How will you put the information and the system to make sure that even the boy child amesimama na pia anaweza kuonekana? On the youth funds, for example, academic, you find that many students are not able to go to the university or the tertiary institution. Can you tell us how will you come up with the idea, for example, the funds to sponsor to these students? Because you may find that somewhere, if you go to the ward to ask for the funds, but it's only been given on the matter of the tribes or unajuana. Can you tell us what you will do if elected as the MCA of Olkeri ward?
Thank you. That was a question for Mheshimiwa Chege. We'll also request Mheshimiwa Simon, please respond to the same question. We have the third question here for Mheshimiwa George Munene. Go ahead.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Timothy Lakishon from Transformer area. My question is about the land rates that the outgoing county government is forcing to impose in Kajiado North. I would like to ask, do you think it's fair that these land rates are going to impose in Kajiado North and some parts of Kajiado East and West? Also, about the market in Matasia, there was a social hall that was to be built, ambaye hiyo kazi imeanza, but bado jamaliziwa. Can you promise us that at least ukiingia utaweza kuimaliza, so that in such a occasion like this, you can be using the same instead of coming all the way up here? And also, I would like to know, or to kindly request you, will you please save us from Orolaisa water? Because currently, like 80% of the workers there are in the office, only 20% are in the field, which is supposed to be the other way around. Thank you.
Asante sana. Mheshimiwa Rachel, please take up your question. Kindly respond in 1 minute only.
Yeah, thank you. Nijibu hiyo ya whether I will work with the county government and national government. Yes, I'm obliged to. Na hiyo ya watoto wa disabled, how will I tackle them? For now, nimefanya hiyo ya kusaidia watoto disabled, like my friend Kamau can testify. wheelchairs, I lobby for them, na nawapatia. Any needs about disabled, I'm in it. Also in schools like Arap Moi, we have those disabled kids. We usually go and visit them and do wonders to them. So for the disabled, I'm okay with it. I will continue with the work. Thank you.
Mwachege, please go on before
Thank you very much. Again, nikumbushe watu alama yangu ni taa ya Democratic Party.
Thank you.
I
1
want
minute
to say
only. 1 minute only. Yes. Go ahead.
Yes, definitely I will work with the incoming government, whichever God will allow us to bring in kwa governor. Your issue ya boy child na issue ya youth, I would like to put it together. Because I feel hata your issue ya youth ndio imeshikana pia na mental health. And I will just take a rough example to niseme. For example, you know the government, and the government has done a very good job. That na congratulate government. But I feel there are people and the needs of the youth that are not being presented very well within the national government too. And this is for the reasons, na wende wafagia barabara. Huyo kijana amefanya diploma, huyo jamaa amefanya degree. Atakosa je kuwa na mental problem? He's psychologically challenged because he feels nimesoma hii yote na naenda kukata nyasi. There is no hope for me. So what we need to address is the issue of bringing hope back to our people, back to our children, back to the youth, and by creating opportunities, especially through innovation, ya ku create intentional opportunities for jobs for the young people. And one thing I will do, ni ku create kama unachukua containers, we put computers inside, we put fiber. We drop those containers all over the world. Vijana waanze ku access IT hapo tu nje karibu na kwao. Ya mwisho niseme hivi. Kuna mambo ya youth fund. Oh, sorry.
Your time is up. Mheshimiwa Simon.
Continue.
I, Simon Dimo, I will support the national government and county government when I take power on 9th of August 2022. The challenges of children with disabilities, I, Simon Dimo, will advocate and also establish schools for the children with disabilities and also shortcomings. Gender-based violence as an issue, I, Simon Dimo, will provide a counseling center for the children and also emergency calls for them, and also provide and also network and link them with necessary bodies within the county and also in the whole country. Boy-child tribulations, I, Simon Dimo, will provide mentorship programs for them and also empower them through those programs so that they can become good boys and also good men. Lastly, I will ensure there is equality of bursary funds for all primary, secondary, and also higher education students. And may God bless you.
What's happening? Oh, thank you. Mheshimiwa George Monene, you had a question. Please respond to that. Meanwhile, we are going to take a final round of questions, so just prepare your questions. Mheshimiwa George, please go ahead. 1 minute, kindly, timekeeper.
Oh, thanks. I think I'm dealing the issue of rates, of which this is very critical, because I understand from the question from the participants, these rates may force our investors out of business, and this one I'll make sure I'll push a bill in Parliament which will lower the rates. On number 2, which comes on social hall, I'll make sure the social hall Matasia is finished and furnished. This, on the last question of Lisa, I think this is very critical. I've gone around it. I'll make sure the management which is there, I'll sack all of them, because we need people who know what they are doing. Up to now, there is a bill, the debt of allowed that million, which I don't know when it will be paid. So we shall continue the situation. The other thing I'll do, I'll change from electricity solar system to make sure the bill is a bit lowered. On the other thing, I've tried to look at those meters. Even if you don't get water, the standing fee of about 560. I don't understand how this standing comes about, and you're not collecting water. Even you may end up with a bill of 2,000. So I'll train those workers to do a good work. Thanks.
Miza? Asante sana. I will allow for Mheshimiwa Kefason to add on to something, and probably Mheshimiwa Frank Matoke to add on to something before we go to the final round of questions. Which question, Mheshimiwa? You will tackle it when we come back to you. Yeah, please put it down somewhere. Thank you for the good representation.
There's a question Madam Kamundia asked. Is it Madam Kamundia? Someone asked about water. I know we are talking about water is an issue here. Ukiangalia barabara maji imewekwa, mfereji imewekwa hapa inaenda kuwekwa maji. Mostly is from the national government, not really from the county government, because Ololeza we have some challenges of which we don't have to lie here that we can be able to solve. But for one, what I know, there are boreholes which have been already done. Like if you go to Oloika, there is a borehole which is down there, but it has not been connected because of the power. And that's why I said for the facility that is there as an MCA, I'll be able to do that. I'll be able to lobby and make sure that the residents are connected to the waters that are readily available. But also for the national government that they are intending to put the water around here, I'll be able also to lobby with the community so that to make sure that that water is going to run on those roads and to those families. Secondly, there was an issue about youth. How are we going to mentor our youth? Because once I'm elected in my manifesto, I've said there is a youth and women empowerment. And there is a 50 billion that the government normally announces that goes to the county government. Kwa hiyo mgawa inakuja kwa county government. I'll be able to assist our youth to do proposals for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. Mheshimiwa Frank, you wanted to add something? 1 minute only. I'll give you another opportunity.
Give me 2 minutes because there's some things I want to concretize and put them together for the better understanding.
Mheshimiwa will give you 1 minute, kindly.
I'll go very fast. The first one, which I think all of us overlooked, is senior citizens. Senior citizen is like as good as a child who need to be taken care of. I think the Azimio government, when it takes over, the senior citizen obviously be given more money the one Uru used to give. I know it will be added to 6,000. So with that one, it will be sorted out, and if I take over, I'll be able to add more money from the kitty, from the county government. Number two, there's a gentleman here who asked about a boy child. And I think a boy child has been left out. You can see men here, but still we are forgetting our boy child. And I think that's a problem which is persisting because of the way boys are being initiated to manhood. And I think for the issue of when we go down to the boy child, there is also a social problem that we are including.
Please tell us how you'll address the question of the boy child, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you. I think I'm passionate about boys, but I've never been given an opportunity. I think today I've been given an opportunity. We'll have centers every single time when the schools have been closed. We have to put these boys together because these days they are less of a number. Then we have elderly people, cultural people, senior people in the society, experts in all the kind of things to come and talk to our boys so they can know on how to be a boy. Because being a boy these days is becoming like a layer of commodity, which I think if we put these boys together every holiday, we put them together and they are being taught and being initiated to the society, it will really help them to grow as men. Okay. Because as much as I know, men of these days don't have the power our fathers used to have because they were properly initiated in the society. And in the event that we can be able to do that, we'll have men in the society, and the society will be very strong. Because
Okay,
the leadership
thank
of a
you.
man is not only strong, it has a future and a vision.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. We'll take a final round of questions. I'm advised that we need to finish very soon, so I'll request that we take the number 1 there, number 2 at the end there, number 3 here, number 4, and the final one, the lady at the back there, number 5. Please make your question. Kindly ask only 1 question, not 3. And please do not ask a question that has already been asked or responded to so far. So the first question. This question is for Mheshimiwa Gideon. Please take up this question.
Mjamboni, waheshimiwa wetu na wale wanaosimamia, mjamboni tena. Mimi langu ni swali moja ningependa kuuliza, manake nimeona waheshimiwa wetu wengi wameandika manifesto, na manifesto yao ukiangalia wameandika manifesto tofauti tofauti. Sijaona mtu yote akizungumzia kuhusu sports. Manake nikiangalia hii area yetu ya Olkeri, nimeona pande ile kuna vijana wanachezea kwa kiwanja, pande ile hawana uniform, hawana viatu. Jambo la pili ni creation of jobs. Sijasikia mtu akizungumzia hiyo, sababu nikiangalia katika hizi manifesto zetu tumeandika haya maneno yote na sijaona yote amezungumzia. Ningependa kuwaomba mtufafanulie hayo, maana hata tukisema tunajenga
Okay, asante. Nashukuru kwa nafasi hiyo nimepewa mimi, na kwa majina ni Zach from Matasia Redeemed Gospel Church, na kuna mambo ambayo yamezungumzwa mengi na waheshimiwa wetu na yamenifurahisha, lakini kuna swali moja ningependa kuuliza ili nikapate kuelezewa kuhusu firefighter. Tumekuwa na mazima moto, lakini moto inachoma manyumba yetu. Kuna kipindi kifupi, kwa kipindi cha siku kama 7 tulichomekewa na kanisa Ngong na tukachomekewa na kanisa hapa Kiserian. Kwa hivyo swali yangu ni, je, mtaboresha aje huduma ya kuzima moto katika eneo letu la Olkeri Ward? Asante.
God is good and all the time. My name is Kawanjiro, a voter at Olkeri Primary School. My question is informed by the fact that I'm an active participant in politics. Most recently, I was an aspirant MCA, but the nomination ikatufanya ile kitu. Now, my question, allow me to direct it to 3 candidates who were from parties who had multiple candidates, aspirants. That is Mheshimiwa Ngathe of UDA, Keverson of ODM, and Mheshimiwa Kamau of Jubilee. As we may understand, politics is very divisive. However, whoever will win shall be the MCA for all of us, including the people who did not support you and fellow candidates. So I wish the 3 candidates to give us 1 or 2 practical ways on how they are going to unify the ward. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question. The next question, we had maswali imeisha. There was someone at the back. Please uliza swali yako, just 1 question only.
Good evening.
That's a question for Mheshimiwa, let's see. Mheshimiwa Gibson, tafadhali jibu hilo swali.
Okay, my name is Amanya Kuchio. I'm from Kiserian Primary. My question is, what is being done about the drainage situation pale Kichinjio? I mean, it's ridiculous. The smell that emanates from there for the people who are living in that area, for the people who are working in that area, it cannot be safe for people to be living in that kind of situation. So what are we doing about that? And then I'd also like to say quickly about the mental health situation. Thank you for the lady who raised that issue. I think the focus should be on equipping the centers that are available to have professional staff and availability of medication for those who require it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mheshimiwa Gibson, you'll respond to that. I'll also request Mheshimiwa Gado to respond to the same question as you answer the previous one.
I think
Only
I'll just
one
ask
question,
on
please.
behalf of research that many people have talked about mental health, but we want to be very specific. Number one is Kenya is third globally in terms of teenage pregnancy. Actually, 30 out of 1,000 people are young people. Do our aspirants agree that true, this is a big issue, and you need to look at what to do about that? And then the other question I have is the narratives. We are just almost going to elections. We have been on campaign trails, promising big things and big projects that do not even go with the 30 million that an MCA is given. So, or 40 million. We are being promised infrastructure, roads, schools, health facilities, and many things. And we have been promising these things
Please ask your question.
in our campaign. So the question is, can our aspirants just tell these people of Olkeri that true, we have been promising you millions and millions and millions, and maybe you cannot even access that money. Can you just apologize
Thank
and
you.
say we'll review at it and we'll apologize?
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Kefason. You'll also pick that question as you respond to the question on the party.
Yes, good evening. Yes, my name is Samuel Saitoti and a businessman in this area. My question to Shimiwa, what will you do to rogue contractors who are given contracts by the national government or county? To do with Oloika Kamura Road, we are told the contractor is a Chinese and he has subcontracted to another contractor. And the contractor came in, the pipes were cut down. We used to have water from Merisho Loika water project. The pipes were cut down, and it was during the time of COVID. So people suffered a lot, and it increased water. People got water from boreholes, private boreholes. So it was a kind of, they wanted to increase, to give a priority to those businessmen who are in that business of water. And as that final question is to this team who has brought us, this team of press. I'm asking them, can you also be bringing such a debate whereby we can know ways of how we can recall the MP who is not up to task? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next step. It's the next step.
There's a challenge there to the organizers. Mheshimiwa Kamau, you'll respond to that question on the contractors together with Mheshimiwa Rachel. Mheshimiwa Kamau, as you do that, you'll also respond to the question on the parties. We have the last question here.
Good evening. Kwa Islamu Juma Karim. My question, there are two of them. The first one is under the health sector. How can we handle our lack of medicines in our local hospitals? The second one is under corporate entities and the banks. How can we give them back to our communities? That's my question. It's juxtaposed to all of you on a spearhead.
Asante sana. Hilo ni swali kwa Mheshimiwa David. Utajibu hilo swali. Tafadhali, I'll request that we first respond to that round of questions. We have a final, I was advised that we have a final round of questions from one of the resident associations. You want to pick it up? Probably 2 questions only. This question could be responded by Mheshimiwa the particular question is sent to Mheshimiwa Kamau, but I would like to request to ask for a different Mheshimiwa to respond. Is that okay? So allow us to request Mheshimiwa Richard. Please take up this question.
Good evening, thanks. My name is Shadrack Wamtunga. I represent the Melepo Community Association Welfare Group. And I've got some questions, but I'll be limited to 2. Let me just choose, let me select 2, then you can respond. One is first and foremost, they've asked me to remind you guys, you represent the machine, you represent the community in the constituency. They wonder why, how are you gonna do that? Because they feel that you will. And the first question is, why has it been in the norm in the last 2 MCAs who have been elected, they've just gone missing in action? They've not been seen in Rimpa, Olkeri, Koroi. I think I can attest, everybody here will attest to me.
Allow me to disconnect that question because the waheshimiwa seated here are not incumbent MCAs.
I was going to ask my question.
Okay.
So the question is, what is going to be different from you as a representative? Because what has been happening has been that you're having discrimination, misrepresentation of regions. If you're going to be elected in Goroi or Rimpa, are you going to ignore the other areas? That has been a very key thing because Rimpa, we've been left out by the last 2 MCAs. Secondly, has been about congestion in Kiserian town. I think the MCA should be working the county council to work on the traffic. We have a lot of congestion right now. It's actually been building up. The MCA, what are you going to do differently so that we avert the issue, what you have in Rongai now, of dumping and everything from what you have in Rongai, Kiserian, because you have a lot of traffic now, and that is basically your docket. And then there's the other one for roads. I know it's actually like a question that was fronted. They have seen, and the copy is like they've used Siokimau Residents Association, and also like an example was given for Pere, whereby when you allocated your funds for roads per term, why do you always have to keep, what are you going to do different from the other MCAs, whereby you keep upgrading roads with Maram? Why don't you do a tarmac every year with that money and going long term? What are you going to do different? Are you going to copy that, or are you going to be doing always the norm of always upgrading the Maram and always having that money depleted? And the last one was, what are you going to do about an hospital? Can you have an hospital in Olkeri? Thank you.
Thank you
The
very
last one
much.
first. There's the last one.
That
There's
was
a
the
question
last
from
one, thank you.
for Samson, please. Samson, you asked, there's something you said. You mentioned about using the church as a place for public participation. Then someone has asked online, what are you going to do about the non-Christians?
Thank you for those questions. We request we start off with Mheshimiwa Gibson. Please pick up your question, respond to that. Followed by Mheshimiwa Matoke. Tafadhali, you'll pick up on your question. Go ahead.
I had some pending questions earlier. I don't know if you allow me more time to answer.
We have 2 minutes to respond to this.
Okay, I'll start by the question that was posed by about the Kichinjio situation. We all know that Kichinjio is the biggest Kichinjio within this area. And if you're not going to utilize the raw material within that area, then the Kichinjio is going to be sniffing every day. Badilisha. So what if we add value to the skin? Say wanauza 40 shillings ngozi moja. What if we had a leather processing factory up within the Kichinjio that after slaughtering the cows, hizo ngozi zote, they can be processed and added value. When I get into power, that is what I'll do. To counterattack that issue, we will be turning our skin into leather. Apo, na tutasafisha hiyo area yote. I had a question that I was asked, what have you accomplished so far as a leader? I'm a rescue officer, and my job entails rescuing street boys and street girls from the streets, rehabilitating them, reintegrating them, and putting them back to school. That is what I've been doing for the last 5 years. I also had a group called The Voice, and it participated in this debate last time. And that group visits institutions of learning and sensitizes on drug and substance abuse for free. There was another question I was asked about pressing issues, 2 pressing issues. One was unemployment, and I'm going to open up an open air market. During Corona period, we used to see vehicles parked along the roads with nyanyas and vitungus na sukuma. We are going to have an open air market within every location huku kwetu, so that we can exchange ideas and our products. Na mbio time yangu imeisha.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa. We'll request Mheshimiwa Matoke, please go ahead. We have 1.5 minutes for that question.
Okay, thank you, Madam Moderator. Once again, my name is Frank Matoke of UPA. There's a gentleman who asked about the first question about sports. I spoke about it, but I did not clearly give an answer about sports. I think if we pick the talent, I was given a question to answer about the talent. If we use sports, it will be able to solve many problems that we have in our area. If we use sport, number one, there's an issue about kids who get kids. If we have sports, people are involved in sports, and people are involved in talent, at the end of the day, we will not have those issues. So the issue of sport, to me, is very key to the young generation, because we can be talking about young, but at the end of the day, we don't know how these young men can be more productive and profitable in the society. The question which was asked about sports, I think all of us, we have a stadium at Ngong, we have a Kiserian Primary, we have Arab Moi Primary. We'll ask the teachers to give us that space for the sports to be undertaken, so that we can be able to solve pertinent issues which are hitting our young men and women. There's a gentleman who asked about the kids becoming pregnant. If they are given an opportunity and the talent they have, if it's about running, if it's about the volleyball, if it's about football, and we have a playing ground for them to do that, and there's a competition between ourselves and other wards, we'll be able to have people who are not going to have problems in future and even for now, because of sports alone.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. Tuko na swali kwa Mheshimiwa Gideon. Please pick up your question.
Okay, thank you. I had a question on sports, and I feel imejibiwa mara nyingi. Labda ninge compensate na nyingine ambayo ilikuwa imeulizwa na haijajibiwa. Allow me for that. Ile ya waste management, na nilikuwa naona it was good tuangalia mambo ya kisasa ambayo yametokea, kwamba badala ya kuchukua hiyo waste products kupeleka kwingine, tunafanyia tu pale kwa site, tunafanya new technology ile inaitwa biodigesting, tunatengeneza hizo, alafu hiyo mambo inaishia tu hapo kwa site badala ya kutransfer kwingine. On the other part of the question, ilikuwa creation of jobs. Now hiyo, it's high time we go away now from the white collar jobs, tuweze ku-encourage vijana wetu na wale ambao wanatafuta kazi wa form groups, wafanye zile self-help groups na cooperatives, so as we can mobilize our county government, wapatie low interest rates, so as waweze kupata capital, waanzishe kazi, waanzishe biashara zao, waweze kupata ile ajira. Na la mwisho pia, wale ambao ni people living with disabilities, pia tuweze kuondolea ile kodi ya county government, ili waweze kuanzisha biashara zao kirahisi, na hizo loans zote wakuwe ni security free kutoka kwa our county government. Thank you.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Kamau, you had a question, and remember pia ulikuwa na swali ya party. Someone seems to be hiding your mic. Thank you, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you.
Please go ahead.
There was a question on a bursary. The guy actually who was asking on a distribution of bursary, and I want to assure him that actually in my office, I'll make sure the needy student will get the bursary, and
but
also...
Mheshimiwa, but on that issue of bursary, there's been a long question, a standing question of if you give 10 students 5,000 and you give one student through, you take one student through the whole system, which is more beneficial? Is it giving every student 10,000, or giving one student or a few students, taking them through the whole system, which is more, which?
I think actually you have answered the first question. Actually, it's taking one student and push that student till he finishes. And the other also, you can lobby for scholarship, because actually they are there, not only in the county, but also outside the border. So actually that one, I'll make sure that it comes. Oh, the other thing was on the issue of sports. Actually, I want to tell the guys, the sport guys and the talents guys here, that actually I have identified a land within Olkeri ward, and actually it will be a priority to come up with a talent academy, and I'll make sure that the talents within Olkeri and Kajiado will not go under the drain. And also I will upgrade the sport field, and especially in secondary and primary school that we have around, where our sportsmen and women go for training. There was also a question on Oloika Road, and I think we had mentioned that actually that road is a national government, but as an MCA, I will work closely with the MP, incoming MP, and make sure that road has been done once and for all. The other thing, there was a question on the party. Party. And actually, you mentioned Mheshimiwa Nkatho for UDA, Mheshimiwa Kamau Kariuki, Jubilee, and Mheshimiwa Kefason, ODM. Yeah. And how are we going to unite? And I think whoever asked that question knew actually one of these guys will become the MCA. And how will I please don't switch off the mic. How will I make sure that actually I unite these guys? I've been telling Mheshimiwa Nkatho that when I beat him, I'll work with him. When he beats me, I'll work with him. When the same happens to the other guy, we shall work together without leaving all other waheshimiwa behind. We shall work to deliver Olkeri word and make it smart for everybody.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa Kefason.
Thank you, my brother.
And thank you for responding to that question that you will work together, all of you. Would like Mheshimiwa Kefason, please pick your questions and go ahead and remember
I don't really have a question, but I wanted to respond to someone who asked that we are promising higher things and the budget is very little. But you see, these things will be done sequentially. Is that we are given a budget of 40 million. Secondly, to access the MCA, you know we have a challenge. The office of the MCA is in Matasia. And the majority of us come from this side, and I'll make sure that we have an office here around in Ngoroi. If I cannot be able to be financed from the county government, I'll even talk to our chief, the administrative office, to give me a desk there so that as an MCA, I'll be accessible there maybe once or twice a month so that I can be able to respond and also get the concerns of the Wananchi. For the parties, you know very well, 2017 we had some challenges, but you know Olkeri, who are the majority, and I was kind of the minority, but I really tried, and even when Azimio came in, it has really done a great deal, because if you look when we are going to our campaigns, I go with Mheshimiwa Kamau on the same platform, nauza sera zangu, and even my campaigners, most of them are not from my tribe. I've tried to bring on board the new faces. And also, as I'm going to beat them, I think I'm going to consume them to my administration so that we can work up together on that.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa Kefason. Mheshimiwa Nkatho, you had questions. Yeah.
I request for 3 minutes because there's another question that is really itching me.
Mheshimiwa Nkatho will give you 1.5 minutes like the rest of us.
Thank you, make them too, thank you. On the issue of the strategies that I'll employ to make sure that there's equitability, that was a very, very common question, and I think it is good to address it. First and foremost, we'll form committees in every sub-location to be able to identify with them and also be able to work with them on the analysis of the population in every area and the priorities thereof, so that we are able to share the resources equitably. Number two, there is an issue on senior citizens that was asked by Mr. Sylvester Ngatia. Please allow me to react to that question. The senior citizens, we have the village administrators who act as chiefs in the county government, and that is their core obligation to make sure that they are taking care of those kind of emergencies. And at the docket of the deputy governor, there's an emergency fund that is allocated to the deputy governor that takes care of such kind of incidences and instances. So I'll lobby to make sure that that is effected and the old people are able to be fed and also provided with better health care. The other issue was on the drainage on the slaughterhouse in Kiserian. Kiserian and the other upper part is under Kikonyoki ward and Kajiado West. But I promise that we'll work hand in hand. What is excreted is actually waste from the animals that are slaughtered there. There are also things like hooves, and like Mheshimiwa Gibson has said, We have the hides and skins, and we also have the horns. Those are things that can be recycled and used to make ornaments. The hides and skins we can also form a tannery in Kajiado County, and that is very well aggregated in the UDA manifesto. And I think we'll have a tannery in Kajiado that will be able to turn our skin into leather materials and leather products that will be able also to sell outside and add value to the products that are coming from the animals. The other issue is on Roga contractors that was asked by Mr. Saitoti, and the issue of Ololaiza water. I'll tackle Ololaiza water by a major overhaul or eradicating it completely, because it is no longer a viable project to provide water and to be able to supply water to the residents of Kiserian, and come up with a new committee, or maybe do new boreholes that will be able to supply water, and also in conjunction with the national government on the water that is coming from Dakaine. Thank you very much, Moderator.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. We had a final question for Mheshimiwa Richard.
My question was asked by Mr. Shadrach. That is, our predecessors have been going missing. Let me tell you that I'm funding my campaigns, so I'm not taking a coin from anybody who will make me fear to give what I promised to Olkeri people. Again, I will give equal distribution of funds or development to all Olkeri people. Conjunction in Kiserian. Kiserian town lies in Kekonyoki ward. So that problem can be tackled by any MCA from Kekonyoki ward. Next is health center, a hospital. A hospital is very big for an MCA to build. Neither a health center is big for an MCA to build. What I can build in Olkeri ward, especially in Kahuho and Loangoroi, is a health dispensary, whereby it can be run by a clinical officer and some few nurses. Thank you.
I had a question I was asked by Mr. Shadrach concerning, I said I will work and organize the community through churches. And I thank you for the question, because I realize people are listening. Na hiyo ni kazi mzuri, tunashukuru Mungu. Now, I also meant to say that through mosques and also community organizations like associations na zile welfare organizations ziko, it is a must for our people to be active in politics. If we do not force them to join these groups, hatutaweza kumove Olkeri to the next level. And most of the issues we are dealing with right now are issues to do with limited funding, are issues to do with low or poor healthcare. Na unapata kama Kajiado, kwa daktari moja kuna over 26,000 patients. How is that? How are we going to manage kama we don't address this issue on a very high level? Secondly, nimalize nikisema kuna issue ya corruption. We have to look at how funds are actually used. And our politicians and leaders, like me being one of them, nisimame na nikue honest in what I do as a leader. And lastly, hii mambo ya mental health. It's indeed an issue that is disturbing our people, and especially the young people. But if you look around, the issues that are there, if you don't access funds, kama hizi pesa za loans, it is hard for you to access that. If you finish school and there is no job, utaenda wapi? If you are at home, now when you ask for money and you want to get married, huwezi ukaoa kwa sababu hauna njia ya kuoa. So wacha nisiongeze mambo mengi sana, wacha nimalizie hapo, but I say that tutajaribu kudeal na issues. Asante.
David, I know you might want to address something, but we really don't have time and would like to also end this. So we're going to give you each a minute to say something that you might have wanted to say that was not captured in the questions. And then after that, I want you to answer hapo, David.
But moderator, before we go there,
you know you're spending your time. You still have 1 minute.
There's a question that has gone unanswered about the lack of medicine in our hospital.
Okay.
whereby we know it is sole responsibility of the county government.
All right.
On that, I assure that we will be having medicines and more facilities within it. About corporate engagement, for instance, like banks, equity, and all those things, we are going to engage them, and we are going to work together with them and make sure that they are empowering our youths and they are creating employment on our behalf. Because as a county government or as an MCA, there is no need of raising these young people emotions by exciting them and telling them what is not true, that they can be accommodated in the county assembly or in the county positions. They are not enough for all of us here. So we will engage with this corporate. And another thing about the sports, we will also engage these corporates so that they can be able to be sponsoring our youths, so that sports can no longer be for entertainment only. It can also earn them a living.
Your time
Okay,
is up.
now, I
Your
can
time is
promise
up.
that...
Kindly just
Yeah.
address the things we have said so that...
Okay, sure. About the pledge that you have asked, whether we will work with whoever wins, I want to make it clearly, because I can see someone like Mheshimiwa Kamau is still on the cocoon of thinking about big parties' names. But I want to prove to him that this time round, these Olkerians are more educated and they are going for a leader, but not a party. So whoever wins, we will go for that. And we are going to work along together with them.
Your
Thank
sign, your symbol, your name, the sign on that will be on the ballot.
Actually, I want to thank the moderator, the lady Irene, because now I can see he has been addressing me as David Mungai Ndongo, because those are the actual names that will be in the ballot box, and the symbol ni jembe, and I will be having a red t-shirt, na nimepiga smile hapo, kwa hivyo hamutashindwa kufanya nini, and on the ballot